You would have thought the way that the social media world was agog at this particular delivery, well, it would almost be up there, of course, with the sighting of Elvis, or maybe Marilyn Monroe secretly still being alive after all of these years. What it turned out to be, though, was simply this. That's right, a simple jar of jam from the former royal known as the Duchess of Sussex, cable TV actress Meghan Markle. But is it simply all that it says? As ever, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry I've got the giggles about it. When you think about this, it's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? You know, you've gone from being one of the most, could have been one of the most influential women in the world to now flogging jam online in a jar with a bit of cloth and an elastic band around it. I mean, can you see the relevance of this? It's just ridiculous in so many respects. Now, here's where it gets really tricky for Meghan, because this apparently is the very first project of her American Riviera orchid thing, whatever you call it. Not exactly up there with Gwyneth Paltrow's goop, is it? A jar of jam. No details on the organic ingredients, where the strawberries came from, that sort of stuff. Now, she sent it around to 50 influencers. We've only seen 17 so far. And what happens when you do this, in case you don't know, is an influencer is somebody that has a lot of followers on social media, something like that. You take a picture of the jar of the jam, and then of course, it gets, and everybody starts to gush. She did this similarly with, she was trying to push that coffee brand, remember? Clever Coffee or something like that. Oprah Winfrey then suddenly popped up and said, oh, it's my favourite coffee. Never heard of since, of course, but it was the favourite coffee for at least 10 seconds, you get the picture. Now with Meghan, of course, she's got to shift these jars of jam, and she is looking apparently to pair up with an international brand over here in Great Britain, a big supermarket chain, somebody like Marks and Spencer's, Waitrose, high end, maybe even Fortnum and Mason's. I mean, you do come away thinking, goodness, if they just got this one. Where I find it's interesting though is, as everybody's pointed out, is simply this, we did a bit of a check-in, and if you remember, of course, Meghan was gushing about making that cookery book with all those lovely ladies from the Grenfell project, remember that? So I thought, well, let's just check with them. Have they received their jar of jam yet? No, they haven't got theirs yet. You see what I'm saying? Yes, it's interesting, isn't it? Because is this because, of course, they're not influencers? Are they not the right people, one might suspect? And as ever, we have to say allegedly. It might be there in the post as we're now talking now. Who knows? But either way, this does seem that she's pitching herself at the high end, if you like, of the market. And more importantly for Meghan Markle, and you have to say this in the loosest possible terms, what exactly is she hoping to achieve? As I pointed out, somebody's already planning here on one of the TV shows over here to do a blind taste test live on television on one of the breakfast shows. That could be very detrimental if it doesn't come out on top. It's all very well receiving this jar of jam for an influencer, knowing exactly who it's come from and exactly when to expect it, so you can gush about it online. But a blind taste test on breakfast TV could be very damaging indeed. And more importantly, will it now become a collector's item? Will it be up there times 40 or whatever? And will we see anything else other than the one jar of strawberry jam? Will there ever be an apricot or a black currant? Either way, it's looking interesting. I'm sure you'll agree. And for the ladies of Grenfell, I'm sure it's on the way. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.